One of the most haunted places in the world. Cemetery located on 7 Mile Beach in Grand Cayman. Imagine how it would be like if you were walking on the beach and it felt like someone was pulling your feet under the sand. A lot of people who visited the cemetery beach made fun of such incidents. But some have experienced something very similar and spine-chilling. These are the people who have gone through such incidents, which has traumatized them, and now even the name Cemetery Beach of Grand Cayman is enough to scare them.
A mysterious beach.
This story is a depiction of the true event. The identity of people associated with these incidents is limited to them. This channel does not promote any spiritual or superstitious activities.
Today's story is about a girl named Devan, who is a lawyer by profession, but went to Cemetery Beach to do research on paranormal activities, which was also her hobby. Devan was recording every moment of her trip. It had been more than 5 to 6 hours for her being there, but until now she did not experience anything as such, due to which she could say that this beach is haunted and real. Two things she found strange here. First, the cemetery on the beach, a place where dead are buried. Second, the color of the sand here. Perhaps these two things are the reason what make this place horrifying. Apart from all these, this beach seemed very normal, like the rest of the beaches, to Devan. Ever since Devan came here, she was looking for a man who sells balloons on the beach, because she had read somewhere on the internet that if people buy balloons from this man, then it is okay, but if they refuse to buy, then they encounter some or the other tragedy. It is because this man is one of those souls that people have spotted here. At around 7 in the evening, when Devan, after being tired, was returning to the hotel, she heard a voice from behind.
"Excuse me, miss, would you like to buy a balloon from me? Believe me, it will prove to be lucky for you."
Hearing this, Devan turned around and saw a man, looking at her with innocent eyes, with a bunch of balloons in his hand. Devan went to him and said,
"So you are the ghost who scares people selling balloons here?"
Hearing this, the man immediately replied,
"Ma'am, I am not a ghost, but because of this fear, people buy my balloons, and due to which, I too make my earnings."
That man's innocent words made Devan smile. She bought some balloons and went straight to her hotel room. She kept all the balloons there and went to the bathroom. Devan was in the bathtub taking a bath, but the picture of Cemetery Beach and that man was still roaming around in her mind. That when the water level crossed her ears and reached her nose, and she did not know when it submerged her face. Devan kept on shaking her hands and feet under the water, and she felt as if someone was pulling her from inside. But even after that struggle, Devan was not able to get her face out of the bathtub. Then suddenly, Devan somehow got herself out of the bathtub and ran to her room. As the air conditioner in her room was on, those balloons started flying everywhere in the room. After seeing all this, not the cemetery beach, but this room was definitely turned as a haunted place to Devan. Therefore, she immediately turned on her camera, keeping it on the recording mode. Devan finished her dinner and hurriedly went to sleep. Late at night, the sound of the balloon woke her up. When Devan lit the light of the room, she heard that sound right next to her ear. Well, the balloons were lying far away from her, and such a sound comes only when someone rubs their hand on the balloon, but there was no one in the room except Devan. She immediately took out her hairpin and started bursting all the balloons one by one. When she burst the last balloon, she clearly heard a sound in her ears. Devan immediately checked her video camera and saw that when she was bursting the last balloon, someone was standing right behind her. The paranormal activity on which Devan had come to do the research was in front of her. Even before Devan could think of anything, the telephone kept in the room rang. And on answering the phone, she heard a voice from the other side.
Ma'am, it's a wake-up call. Just like you asked us to wake you up at 1 o'clock.
Devan looked at the clock and saw that it was exactly 1 o'clock in the night. In fact, during the day, Devan did not realize that Cemetery Beach was haunted, so she thought of going around on the beach late at night. Taking essential items like camera and torch, Devan left for the beach in the middle of the night. As she was moving forward, the sound of the high tides was increasing gradually. Fearless, Devan, when reached the beach, heard a voice coming from her behind. Hearing this voice when Devan turned around, she saw many dogs barking and chasing her. To rescue herself, Devan started running as fast as she could. After some time, while running, when Devan looked back, flashing the light of the torch, she did not see any dog even in that light, but the sound of dogs was definitely heard till now. Devan was not afraid of ghosts as much she was of dogs, so she kept running until those voices of dogs barking completely stopped. After going a little further, Devan ran across a man who was the watchman of the cemetery. Seeing a lonely girl walking on the beach late at night, the man said,
"My child, you should go from here. This place is not safe."
Hearing this, Devan said,
That is what I have come here to find out, whether there is ghost or not at this place.
Hearing this, the man said,
"My child, I have been working here for years. Till today, I have not seen any paranormal activity here, but yes, since the news about presence of spirits on Cemetery Beach has spread, the number of visitors has increased too."
For about an hour, Devan sat there and talked about this place and the paranormal activities here with the man. In the meantime, the man offered a cup of coffee to Devan. After a long conversation, when Devan was on her way back to the hotel, she felt as if someone was flashing a light on her from behind with a torch. Upon turning back, she did not find this any hallucination, but the reality. Devan started stepping towards the light of that torch. Slowly, she had come so close to the sea that she could feel the waves on her feet. She had now moved so far that now the water level had reached her waist, and in no time the water level now rose till her neck from her waist. Till knees, her legs were in the sand now. The water level kept rising gradually. Devan kept writhing and agonizing while moving her hands and feet so hard. And after a lot of struggle, when she opened her eyes, she found that she was in the bathtub of her hotel's bathroom. Now, she could not believe her own dream, because at her left side on the floor was a torch, which was still flashing, and on the right side of the bathtub was a cup of coffee. Devan went to the room, used her hairpin to burst 5 balloons, but left the 6th one, because in her dream, when she had burst the 6th balloon, she did not hear the balloon's noise, but the sound of someone being angry. And in her dream, while checking the video, she could clearly see someone standing right behind her. Keeping the 6th balloon aside, Devan said,
I know what you want me to do.
Then suddenly, like her dream, the telephone kept in the room rang. Devan unplugged the telephone's cable and took her camera along with a torch. She immediately headed towards the beach. Just like her dream, the sea was very close to Devan. At that turn, she heard a voice from her behind. This time, Devan did not look back. She went a little further. Just like her dream, she heard the noise of dogs barking behind her. This time, Devan neither turned, nor did she run. She was avoiding the mistakes she had made in her dream this time. When she went a little further, she saw the same watchman in the cemetery. Devan said,
Hello, sir. Your coffee must be ready.
Hearing this question of Devan, the man replied,
Of course. It is ready. Would you like to have it?
Devan replied to the man,
No, sir. Thank you for asking. Actually, I am getting late.
Now, the sound of the sea was slowly moving away from Devan. She also saw the light of the torch flashing from her behind, but this time, she did not turn around and went straight to the hotel, packed her luggage, and sat at the reception and waited for the morning. Devan had read on the internet that everything will be fine if you buy a balloon from the boy on the beach, and if you refuse to buy, then many unfortunate incidents happen to you. Devan had not only bought 1 or 2, but 6 balloons. Maybe that is why she got the warnings of the tragedies that happened to her in her dreams. Whether that balloon seller was a ghost or not, it is still a big question. But in the morning, when Devan was sitting in the taxi outside her hotel, that boy, with a balloon in his hand, and with the same smile on his face, was waving his hand, saying,
Excuse me. Miss, would you like to buy a balloon from me? Believe me, it will prove to be lucky for you.
Thank you for your time. You were listening to Milestone 13. Please do not forget to follow us on our social media. Links are in the description.